If you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas. Who else is here with me?
I'm also Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
Goddamn. I know it's been a weird couple of weeks. We'll do one, we'll be off for a week. We come back on for a couple of weeks, then we're off again.
Real life sucks.
What did you say? My life sucks?
I said real life sucks.
It does indeed suck. Yeah. Yeah. So, in regards to stuff happening, not a lot of major game news or whatever. Imagination. None of that. But I guess there's a couple of newsy things to look at, like a certain Lianorn that got revealed today. That's what I don't understand.
How many Lianorns are we at now? Is this the fourth one?
This is the third one.
Oh my God.
We have officially hit a hat trick of Lianorns.
Lianorn might be setting the record for most new forms in the shortest amount of time.
I wonder if anyone has kept track of that sort of thing.
I think the clear winner is the Keter guy, right?
Which
revolt form.
Youth. Yeah, that's true.
Youthberg.
Youthberg had 4 or 5 or something, and 2 sets and a TD.
Yeah,
that's true, but that's also his gimmick, though.
That's true.
So
at least it's his thing, you know.
Yeah, in terms of just natural progression, Lianorn might be one of the fastest.
Mm-hmm. And for possibly the dumbest reason, as soon as there we go, it loads there. All right, so Marsh Lefleur, Lianorn Vivace. So grade 3 Stoichea with unison dress. There's another dress thing to keep track of. Auto, when this unit is placed on riding on a unit with Lianorn in its different card name, or on a unit in unison dress, draw a card, and this unit becomes in unison dress for the rest of the fight. So much to unpack. But also, auto on Van once per turn, when this unit in unison dress attacks while not boosted. Stand all of your rear guards and boost this unit. If 3 or more rear guards are boosting at the end of the battle, counterblast 1, choose 3 of your units, stand them, and those units get plus 5k and drive -1.
Units without boost can perform boost.
What am I What? Gentlemen.
What is happening?
What if we made Lianorn mask, but she also restood herself?
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Am I wrong, or does this seem pretty good?
It does seem good. I mean, it restands itself. Of course, it's good. The only thing is, because it has to write a different name, you don't get Persona Ride turn 4.
Right.
That's the main thing, but
I would just draw the cup.
Yeah. No, you can't use the cup with the turn you ride.
Yeah.
You
cannot Persona Ride turn 4.
Yeah,
but you're making 6 attacks minimum. One of them is a Vanguard attack. That's probably 50k. I think it's fine. But yeah, these card design is so fucking boring sometimes.
Yeah, I saw your tweet from earlier today. Care to go into some detail about that?
What if we just restood harder? That's just D's card design right now. What if we just gave it a 4th attack? Okay, we gotta make another version of that. What if it attacked more?
Yeah, I'm going back and looking at Lianorn Mask because
Lianorn Mask just restood any 2 thing or any 2 rear guards. This one is any 3 units, which means itself.
Yeah, and it's just it's straight power creep on it.
Yeah.
Which,
It's been like 3 sets since Lianorn Mask came out. And honestly, like, Lianorn Mask effectively got 1 wave of support, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it came out, that was like the only wave of support they got, and then now we just have another one already.
Yeah. So this has happened with Bruce also, because you had Bruce grade 4, and then Purple Bruce.
Well, that also happened with what's his name? Fuck. Nirvana. Yeah, Nirvana. The same thing happened with Nirvana there. At least that. Actually, no, you're like that one didn't really have any like real waves of support, and then they just like made another one.
Yeah, I see what they're getting at, where they're trying not to overly power creep one particular ride line by having like these little offshoots, but it's like,
I mean, this one's not even an offshoot, right? Like you could,
yeah,
you just play this on top of the original Lianorn.
mm-hmm.
Also, it is power creep. This deck is making like 6 attacks.
Yeah. But it seems that for most of the ride lines, they're trying to do that to stem power creep, and this one they're just like,
I mean, no, this is just like the anime design that they had way back at the beginning of Vanguard, where they made a new stride every set.
mm-hmm.
Or like making a new grade 3 every other set. Like, this is just that, but like the design of D means it's just the same guy. Instead of them inventing like 20 different Vanguards for Naoki to play.
Yeah. I liked, that was kind of a good thing about G, was that adding a new stride didn't like change the makeup of your deck completely. It was okay, add this to your G zone, to your extra deck, and then keep on going from there. For V, or now this, it's just like, okay, now I have to take this into consideration every goddamn time.
I mean, this was also what happened in the original Vanguard. Like, the current era of Vanguard just feels like we're in Limit Break again. Remember when in Limit Break, like, half the clans just had a restanding Vanguard?
I do remember that.
Yeah, like, we are in this exact same space where it's like, everything is, what if we made another attack? And then... instead of printing like a new different card to play every time a new set comes out, it's just the same guy being retrained over and over again. Like, I think the most recent wave of grade 3s from the TDs in set 6 have been like the fastest turnover we've had for like Vanguard forms. Because we have like the original version, then we had like the mask version for Lianorn and Dredrewald. We're now getting a new Lianorn that's power creeping the mask version within basically like 1 wave of support. They're revealing another Dredrewald card that's not being featured in the anime. Like, that's going to be next week. So it does feel like bad writing in the anime is also just affecting like card design, where like Ura joined the bad guys and got the mask version, and then she wins 1 fight and then instantly loses to Yu and goes back to the good guys. So we now have to make another.
That's how reverse worked. Like, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. God, this entire season of Vanguard is just Limit Break all over again.
Damn it, guys.
Yeah, no, that did happen, because we got like Ethics Buster, then we got Ethics Buster Reverse, then we got Ethics Buster Extreme. I think the same thing happened with Lukier, right? We had Lukier, then Lukier Reverse, then Venus Lukier.
Mm-hmm. And like the whole lore reason was like, oh, she's traumatized after coming out of the reverse thing. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, I guess. Is Bushiroad just kind of out of tricks at this point?
I mean, yes, it does. Like, recently, it does feel like they have just forgotten that there are other card designs that they have to draw from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like I said, a lot of decks right now are just like, what if more attacks? They have been, to their credit, they have been trying to find like novel ways of making the 4th attack, but they are just drawing from that same pool, right? Like, how many throwaway decks are we at now that's just like, make another attack? We had like the Solarion in set 10. What else? Like, Gondiva, despite being like a deck focused heavily on like retiring and gaining card advantage just has a guy that makes a 4th attack for no reason.
Yeah.
Like Bruce went down to 4 attacks from 5 in his purple form, and then they
Alden.
just gave. Yeah, Alden, like the new one, is just like make a 4th attack. Like we just got a Tachikaze promo that just makes a 4th attack.
Oh yeah, Matt, how do you feel about that?
I do not know. The real question is why.
Yeah.
We'll
do we want to just like scroll? Do we want to just like scroll up to it? It's not that far up.
Oh no! Are we done with this first before I?
I mean, I don't have anything else to add for it. Okay. Like, yeah, it looks strong. It's basically just the grade 4 Bruce, but Lianorn.
Yeah. All right. So,
yeah, we have it. We found our dinosaur archetype.
Go for it.
Me or Matt?
Matt.
All right. So, Steel Lord Dragon Spino Marquis. I guess it's technically a dragon. When this unit is placed on Van, you can look at top 7, choose up to 2 Dino Dragons from among them, call them to rear, shuffle your deck. Sure. And an auto, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast, retire a Dino Dragon rearguard, which I guess is a lot of Tachis. Draw a card, this unit gets power plus 10, choose up to 1 Dino Dragon from your hand, call it to rear, and retire all of your opponent's rearguards in the same column as a call unit.
It's very, very early,
yeah,
early Tachi, pre-Gaia Tachi flavor.
Yeah. But we're never getting this card anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then under that, they're like some Dino Dragons to look out for, and then it's just like
these are all bad.
Yeah.
Well, we found the dinosaur archetype.
Yep, and they're like, great. Now all the Tachi skins can shut up, and it's like, but why? I don't know if that was even necessary or fine, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah. But it's very annoying that this card is just like, what if 4th attack, right?
Yeah, 4th attack on your and this is like what Graham Grace was at First Light, where they were like, there's no ride line for it. Figure your own shit out.
Yeah, and then you just play Blaster Dark.
Yeah. And then what's probably going to happen is, depending on how popular this gets, they're going to make a TD for it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
We have like a bunch of just random ass promo grade 3s though. Mm-hmm. They should be box toppers in set 11. I'll tell you when I get my case.
Okay. Yeah, please. So that is what you're doing then.
Yes, I remember that I just have birthday money to spend on it, so fuck it. I will pretend that this game pays enough dividends that was worth it, even though it clearly isn't.
Mm-hmm. You know what does pay dividends is on the Nexus Core YouTube channel, me flattening Richard like 5 games in a row that he's now putting up from that recording session. He did not have a good afternoon, I'll tell you that.
Well, you're just bullying people now?
Not bullying, but maybe relishing in the fact that I win on camera for once, because I never do.
Fair enough.
Yeah. We really should upload more videos to our YouTube channel again.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, random, not a ride line for Tachikaze stands, which
now they just need like Angel Feather and Mega Colony.
Yeah.
What else is missing from the clans?
Because one of the weird things about like those particular clans is they're so visually distinct.
Yeah.
That whenever something close to it would get revealed, right? So any of these Dino Dragons come out, you get the people being like, "Where's my dinos, Deep Bushi? Where's my shit?" You know.
In terms of like play styles that we don't have yet, like we don't have anything that does damage zone stuff like Angel Feather. Mm-hmm. Like we don't have a bug grade 3. We don't really have a stun deck either, and we don't really have Dimension Police. We're just like we have a bunch of things that make the Vanguard really big. We don't really have anything that cares about that. I guess like Silhouette is the closest thing.
Yeah, but like to be Dimension Police versus Vanguard centric, there's something to it that I can't really describe. Besides just, I add a lot of power to my Vanguard.
Yeah, I guess like you have to care that your Vanguard has a lot of power, right? If it's just that your Vanguard it's like Lianorn, right? Like if your Vanguard just gets really big and then does something else, then that doesn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm. Is it like thresholds that you're looking for? Like if this is at 35k, then you get to do this thing.
Like that's the easiest thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, yes, pretty much. Like, that's basically how, like, DP cards have worked for a long time. It's just, like, if you have this amount of power or this amount of criticals, do a thing.
Yeah. And I gotta say, DP and Premium right now is really, really funny.
DP, yeah. I mean, DP has been good in Premium for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
Source, I keep losing to it.
There you go. Shout out to our friend Peter, who he got both laurels on board at the same time, and hijinks quickly ensued.
That's pretty funny.
He also put down a Linka just to like really ruin your day.
Yes, exactly. I had one Rollick. I was like, I think I'm okay. I can Rollick through this, and then he was like, not two. I'm like, so
that is the DP experience.
Yes, it is. It was one of those things where like I lost to him and just started laughing because it's a very funny way to lose. Yeah, there's that. There was also we tweeted about this earlier today. There, Bushiroad was like, "Hey, user survey. What are you thinking?"
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah,
like the short list of things that I put down, and I forgot some things too.
Mm-hmm.
Like too many products. Like especially this year in particular, where like the way they shifted things around with certain delayed sets, certain English exclusive meant like we got more sets than we typically would just because some things from last year rolled over to this year.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, for us, we got the Minerva set in February, right? And so that means by the end of the year, we're going to have 5 main sets instead of 4 like we normally do, which means just a ton of things are especially like right now where it's like, all right, set 11 just released, and then next month we're getting 3 new TDs and set 12, and then we're getting set 13 in December. So there's just like a ton of cards coming out right now, and plus, you know, we have things like Festival Collection in between. So there's just like a lot of products. It's hard to keep up anymore just because like so much stuff is coming out so quickly. And also, like, the way they're handling English exclusive products, they're not very good. Mm-hmm. And then also that, like, fucks around with the schedule, so we keep getting things later, which means more things get pushed into, like, the next year, and then that means, like, as they try to, like, compress things and catch us up, we have a ton of products releasing at the same time. And then, you know, on the premium side of the thing, it's like, we have 1 set a year, and that's not good enough.
Yeah, and the worst part is like most of us are pretty excited when that happens, and then they're just like, "All right, we're done. Let's see you next year."
Were people? I don't know. I feel like the response to like History Collection was mixed, but let's not get into that. The point is that we need more than 1 premium set a year, right? Like,
yeah,
I think we should be down to like 4 standard products a year in general, not just like 4 main nation products and then like 2 lyrical sets plus festival collections plus like constructed sets are fine. Like those aren't that big, and you know, if it doesn't interest you, it doesn't interest you. But like, it is very frustrating that we have like 6 nation sets a year or like 6 standard sets a year plus like side boosters plus all this other stuff for the main standard format. Meanwhile, like, they seem to be pushing a new direction for premium. Like, they want to go back to G-Era with all of the history stuff. But you have 1 set. It's a reprint set. So you have, like, 1 errata stride that doesn't really apply to the nation as a whole either. So you have... Or not apply to every clan as a whole. I'm getting mixed up now. So you have this problem of, like, not every clan has its time in the sun, but also, one of the points with the Gridora discussion recently is like, if you take it away, Mega Colony will starve, which is, debatable, but like, we're not getting into that. The point is that we shouldn't feel like that. We shouldn't have to be in this position where nerfing an obvious problem means a clan will starve because Bushiroad just cannot print more than one set of support a year.
I'm still of the belief that if it's for the health of the game, that you can sacrifice a clan's viability.
Yeah, like, I think it's fine if Mega Colony starves for a bit, but I feel like we shouldn't have to feel like that, right? Like,
that you shouldn't feel like that should be the only option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, like, if you take away this card, the clan will starve. Like, ideally, we would just print more support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like, I don't know, Neonet, or OTT with the Ichikashima stuff for a time there, and they don't really, like, just a little bit more,
Like, we don't, but like, we don't have anything other than Ichikashima, right? Like, all of our win conditions is just trying to finesse different ways to tell our opponent they can't guard.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks.
Or just be like, there's a crit there.
I mean, that's fine.
It.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's fine. There's only so many ways you can win the game, but just like the fact that like OTT for a while has just been trying to find different ways of saying you can't guard is lame. Like, I really wish...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I wish we had other things to do.
I wish they like the thing they had with Momo, where it was a restander, was a cool idea, and I wish they did more with that, but all they did was like, all right, you get one restander, and then we're going back to the guard restrict.
I mean, they didn't even go back to the guard restrict. Like, the next one just like basically got 1 million drive checks.
And then you had a...
Yeah, it's just like random V cards that have guard restricts on them, so we just keep combining it with Ichikashima and just continuing to crutch on this 7-year-old card.
Yeah.
It's only 6 years. I think it came out in 2017.
It's Ichikashima. It was definitely while we were still in college, at least. So, whatever that means.
2017.
Yeah, so it kind of just feels like we're in a glitch in the Matrix.
What do you mean?
It kind of feels like we're in a glitch in the Matrix now.
What do you mean by that?
it feels like I'm getting a lot of deja vu of stuff.
I see.
With like feeling like we're in G era for parts of it, feeling like we're in limit break era for parts of standard. And
well, feeling like we're back in G era was deliberate design decision, but I don't think they did a particularly great job of it. Like, I don't know who's nostalgic for fucking Gobblade.
It's not about the Gobblade. It's about the abs. No,
but like, that's not the iconic strides you think of when you think of Royal Paladin, right?
The on hits? Fuck no. Nobody was like
nobody thought that about any of them. It's either just a bigger version of the grade 3, or like very specific things like Lambros, right?
And then some of them were just like, there was a fighters collection that came out before some clans got their support proper, either in a TD or whatever. So the unhit that they turned into that was from a fighters collection that no one gave a shit about, like Miracle of Luna Square Clifford.
Yeah.
Okay, like, or what's his face for Tachikaze, the one that doesn't have Engorge because they hadn't invented that yet.
Yeah. Yep. And then they also put Loris in there, even though for whatever can somebody please elaborate what is going on with Loris? Because I quickly Googled the artist just to make sure they weren't like dead or something, and they seem to still be active. So I assumed there was just some sort of dispute with the artist, like what happened with Amon's artist for the longest time.
Could have been.
But like, for whatever reason, right, like they cannot get more art of Loris made, which is why instead of having alt art like everything else, Loris just has the fish runes. I still cannot believe they did that. But like, yeah. you know, you have a card like that where it's like, okay, so for one reason or another, you cannot give this card more support, but you're also putting it in the collection. Like, why?
I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Like,
Yeah. And again, like, the choice to retrain these like random on hits instead of more iconic cards. I feel like 2019 or the Premium Collection 2019 was a very poorly designed set. Like the disparity between like the best and worst cards are huge, but also the best cards of that set are some of the worst cards to ever exist. You know, some things like Ichikishima, like Gridora right now, like Gasteel, where it's like, why did you ever print this? Like, how did anyone think this was ever okay at all?
I'm like going back and look at it. So this is where we got the progenitor dragons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the cards they chose to retrain, they chose good ones, right? Because it was like, okay, they turned Twin Sword into a Stride. You know, it's the Amber clone. It was pretty iconic. You know, it was a staple for the early game.
Mhm.
Ichikishima is the only good Stride OTT has, or at least did at the time.
Yeah.
You know, they retrained like
Morfesso was like Luard's
Mhm.
buddy or whatever.
Yeah, they did like Raphael, which was originally the Stride that just like healed you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just made that they just made that but bigger. You know, like they had all of the like what was it? Fuck, what was the evil god's name? 45k. Gize.
Oh.
Like they had all the Gize disciples, so it was like Gasteel, Dumjid, what's his name? Fuck. Valeos and like Gridora, right? So all of those things. Katrina, I think, was like the Stride fodder for. No, what was Katrina?
Yeah.
I know Katrina was an existing card. I don't remember what she was. She's not the Stride fodder.
Oh no, Katrina was the some bloom card where she just got really big. It was some
Yeah, but I think it was. Yeah. But it was a card that you played for a while.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but so in general, like 2019, they chose to restrain a bunch of like existing cards that you would recognize.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, for this like big history collection where they're trying to revive these old G era cards like Gobblade or Clifford or whatever the fucking OTT one is, like, who cares about these? You know,
part of me thinks they did it just because it was the one place they hadn't been yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when they were like, all right, well, this is uncharted territory. Let's do something with it.
Yeah, but it's just like, if I were thinking like a big G era revival, I would be thinking of things like Aura Geyser or Lambros, you know, Gilderai, these cards that like were played, you know, people who were playing in G era would have stronger memories of these cards. Like, why wouldn't you try to retrain those instead?
Don't know what to tell you, to be honest. And it's not like, okay, I'm not necessarily disappointed. I just feel off. Like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I had a seizure between Friday night and Saturday morning. I swear this is getting somewhere. I had a seizure. I spent the next 2 days just sleeping.
Nice.
And then this entire week, I haven't felt like myself at all. And now that we're here and we're talking about this, I'm having a microcosm of how I've been feeling as a feeling of what the game is right now. So, like,
yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird that like recently it feels like Bushiroad is doing this big nostalgia push, but it feels like they're doing it really badly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was kind of the case in V era too, where like sometimes you get V era versions of cards that are extremely faithful, like practically a recreation of the original form. Mm-hmm. And then you have things like Maelstrom, where it's like, what if we turned it into a restander? Right? Like, or like Sharhat, right? Where it's like, what if it restands two things? And like, okay, like every other iteration of Sharhat has been like some sort of guard restrict. Why does this restand things? Or like Hari with like the stage thing, Where it's like sometimes they'll just go in like wildly different directions for these cards, but sometimes they'll be extremely faithful. Like I think like V Lukier is basically identical to the original.
It's about. I believe that the original Lukier was
I have to
no, they were both No, okay. It was like a 0, 1, 2, 3 on the original one. And then the V1 it was a little less restricted.
The original one was like Soul Blast and a Silverthorn beginning of main phase. Oh wait, no, this is the wrong one. This is the Stride bonus version.
No.
The original one, Counterblast 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 from Soul, call it to rear, and then new ones like Counterblast 2, discard any number of Silverthorns from Soul to rear guard, and the front row gets like 5k.
Yeah. So pretty on brand for them. More xenophobic, but yeah.
Like, you can see how you arrive at this from the original, but then you have things like Maelstrom or Sharhot where it's like, no, wait, how did you get here?
I'm not faulting them for experimenting necessarily.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe that'll be, if I ever do a deconstruction of V video, where it's just like, V was this weird thing where like they could not commit to doing a full reboot like D is, where they completely change everything, but also they were not completely faithful to the original either, so it's just this weird middle ground of like not entirely correct nostalgia.
It's a fever dream.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't really there's not really a call to action with this episode, except for maybe go do that survey.
Go do the survey. There's a lot. Also, like in the list of...
Sorry. One of my biggest problems with D, and this is a problem I don't think either of you have brought up yet, is guarding is just atrocious.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that.
Is.
Like,
no,
even guarding early, like, doesn't really, like, help you as much as you think it would. Like, it doesn't save you that much later.
It does not.
It just feels so bad. And, like, this was kind of, like, the writing on the wall whenever they, like, kept the trigger powers the same, but actually reduced the shield overall when it already wasn't enough in V. And you could make the argument back then, like, oh, well, everyone was, like, stacking 8 billion gifts in V, and that's not going to... Well, here we are again.
Yeah. Like...
and I remember fighting you on this when D was first coming out, and I've since rescinded that position because... I mean...
I think you were wrong as early as set 1 when Bastion was making 4 attacks that were all 30k.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, and this problem's not uncommon, but like at least back in like G era, the early guarding was like somewhat effective down the line.
Yeah,
but like now it's just useless. Yeah. Like it's not useless, but like it's not as impactful as you'd like as it needs to be.
And for the cards that have bigger shield, that's kind of all they have usually. Where they're like, haha, I am a 10k shield, and you're like, that's it?
Yeah. But also, like, why are we in the kiddie pool of only gaining like 5k shield still? You know, we're printing decks that make like 6 or 7 attacks that are all like hitting number. You know, Gondiva can make 4 attacks that are all like 40k now. Like, how are we still in the kiddie pool of, oh, you can Soul Blast 1 to give it 5k shield? Like, to their credit, like more recently they have been upping the shield value of cards. Like the Carbuncles all have 15k. You know, more cards are gaining 10k shield instead of just 5 now, but we're at the point where decks are gaining like 5,000-10,000 trivially, and then you add in things like Persona Ride, and so all of their columns are like 30k plus.
It's a day late and a dollar short, I think.
Yeah. Like, we need a defensive overhaul in D. Like, we need a new defensive mechanic. I think blitz orders are just not very good. Like, no one wants to commit the deck space unless they have to, right?
Right. Because most of the time it's your defensive, your blitz orders are just not losing compared to doing something, right? This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh's hand traps. You're not Ash Blossoming something. You're not.
Like a lot of blitz orders aren't proactive enough to really be effective. They take up space in the deck that could just go to like combo pieces, and only having utility on the opponent's turn. A lot of them have pretty heavy costs. You can get blitz orders that get up to like 30k shield if you pay like a counter blast or meet some other like weird condition.
It's not just on your opponent's turn, it's during your opponent's battle phase.
Oh yeah, that's right.
After everything's already been set up.
Mm-hmm. And also things like the effect heals, right? Where like we honestly could just print straight up better versions of heal triggers, but they chose not to. They chose to make them 10k shields and highly situational.
Mm-hmm. They could have just made them the actual heal guardians from V into D. I think people would have been like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, or not. Is that too presumptuous or no?
I mean, I don't know that heal guards are necessarily fixing the problem, right? Like, certainly, like, there is some early aggression, but a lot of the problem is right now is just, like, the moment a lot of decks hit, like, turn 3, they immediately blow up into this huge offense. Mm-hmm. So, like, the set 12 meta right now is, like, Bastion, Gondiva, like, Orphist, which kind of tracks, like, the tokens get pretty big. And so you run into the same problem where it's like, okay, all these decks are making like 4 attacks that are all like 30k plus columns.
Yeah.
Turn 3, and it's like heal guards don't solve that, right?
No. I more meant as like they could have done they could have like phoned it in by doing heal guards, and it still would have been like better than what we had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's just very. Yeah, like, the effect heals are very irritating because of just how, like, specific they are. Mm-hmm. And I think it's pretty notable, like, even when the conditions for playing them are there, people don't do it consistently. Like, we've had things like Gondiva, right? But at the same time, like, okay, so it becomes 25k shield, which is nice, but because Gondiva is consistently swinging for, like, 40k... Mm-hmm. And the effect only works if the attacking unit has crit 2, not from a trigger. Then it's like, okay, you still need 2 cards against Gondiva at least to like 2-pass it. Maybe more if you're just trying to block it out entirely. We'll ignore the overtrigger for now. So it's like, why don't you just PG it? And at that point, like, the benefit of running the heal isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Because, like, nothing else is gaining a crit for that effect to be worthwhile. Same thing with, like, Prison Dragons in Zorgo, where it's like, okay, but the columns are, like, 50k, so at that point, you're still committing, like, 2-3 cards anyways.
God damn it.
So, which, again, makes the fact that they're so situational even more frustrating, where it's like, okay, it's a power crept. Like, yeah, if you just printed a power crept heal, it's still situational, but at least we wouldn't have to make that decision anymore. Yeah. Instead, it's like worse half of the time, and other times doesn't even help in the situation you need it in.
Incredible.
But I'm going on an angry tirade now.
Oh, yeah. I think this is probably a good place to leave off, because Go do that stupid survey, because we got problems we gotta fix. Yeah, the game doesn't feel like itself.
TLD, like, there are problems. Biggest ones, like, I think too many product releases, bad ratios. Like, gameplay wise, like, defensive power is lacking. Promos, just promos.
Promos, yeah.
Like, reprints are bad.
The old card game promo problem is never ending.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being as bad in Yu-Gi-Oh! As it is here.
Are you sure?
Crush Card Virus being a $300.
Diamond King Crab?
Yeah. I wasn't there for Diamond King Crab. Crush Card Virus I was there for.
Stratos?
Oh yeah, Stratos was a pain. But I also lived near a Barnes & Noble. So... That wasn't super.
Any prize card that was remotely playable.
Yeah, prize card like Cyber Sign for however long.
Giant Minerva, yeah.
See, now
oh right, Lightsworn. Yeah.
See, now Konami does the good old-fashioned price gouging of just short printing an important card. Remember when Sprite Blue was $100?
Oh my god. Yeah, it's weird watching that from the outside. Anyway, go do that dumb survey. I'll link it in the show notes.
Although as long as we're on Yu-Gi-Oh, there was a Yu-Gi-Oh ban list today.
There sure was.
Do you guys want to run through that real quick then?
Cashier Rise Heart ban. We're done.
Yeah, they banned the Rise Heart. They also limited Chaos Space.
Oh yeah, they did limit Chaos Space. That kind of sucks because Dragon Link is cool.
Yeah, they also unbanned Salaman, Great Gazelle, and Sum Up.
I'm not even sure the Gazelle unlimit matters that much.
All I've seen, I haven't watched any YouTubers anything, but I've just seen the thumbnails of them being like, "Where's the rest of it?" And it's like,
yeah, this is like a third of a ban list.
Yeah, they're not happy.
They got our ban list. Like Bushiroad and Konami have formed a hive mind specifically for releasing mediocre ban lists.
They will ban Dimensional Barrier one day. One day they will ban that card.
Yeah, like Shifter,
why not just
D-Barrier.
Yeah, why not just ban D-Barrier now? Why wait? Like, it's going to be banned eventually. Might as well do it now.
Is it because it sucks when, or like you go first, you do your combo, and then flip it when they
you flip D-Barrier, and you know what your opponent's playing probably at this point for reasons unknown, and you're like, I'm gonna call Fusion against Branded or some shit, and they're like, well, go ahead. And you're like,
no, it's fine. Unchained is the best deck now. They're a Link deck. D-Barrier.
Yeah, you'll just call Link.
Oh, you can't for D-Barrier.
Don't that. Yeah, anyway. That's also true. Yeah, D-Barrier is like, it's so dumb because Unchained doesn't care. What else doesn't care?
Dragon Link? No.
Well, Dragon Link will probably still be alive and also not care. Pearly cares because you just named XCs. And then...
Lab is playing D-Barrier.
Yeah. Lab is part of the problem.
Oh, and I guess for, Vanguard players who don't know what D-Barrier is, it is a card that basically can just shut off certain decks based on what you say.
Imagine there was a Vanguard card that you just play at the start of your opponent's turn and they cannot stride that turn for some reason.
Yeah.
They can still Persona ride, but and stuff like that, but they can't stride. And so they're just like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's like.
See, that's how you do a Blitz order. No.
Do not.
See, at least Konami had the decency to ban their formats Gridora.
That's true. What they could also need to do in Yu-Gi-Oh is hit all the other dumb floodgates that are still around.
What, like Tiku and Gozen Match and all that, or
yeah, the old DM staples. Not really, but they're old Duel Master cards that are just still a problem because
Gozen Match.
D-Barrier, man.
There could be only one. All that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so go do that survey. Yu-Gi-Oh's ban list was dumb. Thanks to Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR, and Ollie. There are $10 patrons. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/Nexus at Night. For the price of a cup of coffee a month, you get a whole ass bonus show every week, and you get access to our Discord server. If you would like to be thanked every week and get your stuff a day early, $10 a month. So at Nexus at Night, also on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. How about the rest of us?
You can find me on Twitter at the 2Gs, 2Zs, Wiggums.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Or you can follow my YouTube channel, The Epileptic Comic. Or if you want to check out my other podcast, Generation Dance, a comedy show about generational differences. Our episode this week that just dropped was a Seinfeld showdown, where we did like a fantasy sports draft with Seinfeld episodes. So I somehow managed to lose with the contest against the Puerto Rican Day. How do you lose to the Puerto Rican Day?
It is what it is.
Well, it was about how well you argued it, and I haven't won an argument since 2010, just in general. Anyway, so yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and until next time, I was Atlas.
I'm still Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody.